the confirm does not return true. And then we need to do the shipping address and get the billing stuff. And here we nicely see that we can call pages like we call a subroutine in a normal system. So, for example, the shipping address is an object returned by self-get shipping address. And this builds up a whole stream of pages, but it will return just with one object, very easily. So if we look at the code, it's a bit, so it calls get address with message. And this uses now self-call, to call another component, which is the WO store address editor. So it now hands over the control flow to that one, and this will at one point return with the complete address stored into an object. And at that point, it will return that from the call. I think that was everything I wanted to show with the sushi. Problem is time is running short. One nice thing is that you can here nicely see that this inspector is quite nice. So we can go into the card, and it has items, and the items are 3, and everyone is a store item, and the store item has a title, a subtitle, and a description. We can nicely go back. So it's quite nice for debugging. Okay, that was the sushi shop. The last thing I want to show about this system is the way you can debug and change it while it is running. We have already seen that we can at every point go to the code that implements this thing that is rendered on the screen, like in this kind of store item view. We can change it at runtime without having to restart the server. We can do it from within the browser. We don't need to do it from within the browser. We can do it from within Squeak, just what we want to. The browser is nice if you have a deployment situation where you cannot get to the image. So normally, of course, you have access to, don't know, forwarded X11 or something like that. But if you don't, you can use this small built-in web-based programming tool. You will not use it for programming 5 hours a day, but for small stuff, it is okay. We have seen that we can change the code at runtime. No need to restart the server or restart the program, so all data is valid. The customer is on the phone, and you just say, oh, try again, and it works. And that's very powerful. Another thing is that we can at each point make a breakpoint in this code. So for example, it could be that we make an error here, so we forget this dot. Okay, we save, we close, and now it should actually, we should get an error at some point. We don't. Let's do an error here. Okay, so we got an error, so our application blocks, and on our development environment, which is the thing that I use instead of PowerPoint, we get a dialog that asks, what do you want to do? And I say, oh, I want to debug that application. And I see, okay, I did a breakpoint here. At that point, I can see all the information of my program. I can see that there is a card and that it has an item, and I can see which item it is. It's Nakamaguru, okay. And I can actually, when I see what I did wrong, like adding a breakpoint here, I can delete that, save it, and can say, okay, please continue. And this will continue the program without stopping anything. So the normal program is now running. As we see, the nice side effect is that it rendered 2 times, which is a bit strange, but it works. So we can edit our program, debug our program while it is running without terminating anything. Okay, so if I look at the time, I think there is not too much that I can show besides that. I did not show too much, so there is a lot of really cool stuff like database access. I did not talk about anything. Seaside testing, a testing framework for testing seaside applications. Then Magritte and Peer, very interesting. Magritte is a meta model for describing your domain objects, and then it will render automatically to seaside. Or a component library with predefined components. And of course, Ajax and Scriptacular support is there. But we have sadly no time at all to look at that. I will put these slides online and actually the complete image so you can play with it yourself. And there are some links for you to look at. So there are some example applications. Squeaksource.com is written in Seaside. There is, for those who understand German and I think French, a Swiss application for getting an offer for a health insurance company, which is completely implemented in Seaside and available for everyone to play with. And then DoubleDB, of course, which is not yet publicly available. Very cool, completely implemented in Seaside and running on Squeak. And if you want to learn more, there is about Squeak itself from the hacker perspective, so programming with Squeak, for example, Seaside is squeak.org. If you want to use Squeak to learn programming, if you are younger or if you have kids, then squeakland.org is good. And then there is a German Squeak association, squeakev.de. And Seaside itself has a nice website, seaside.st. There are videos and an image to download and documentation. And that's it. Are there any questions? The question was if there is anything about security, like encryption and stuff. So encryption there is a library for encryption available, which implements lots of stuff, hashing things and encryption itself. Besides that, there used to be some network intrusion tool that was done in Squeak, but I don't think that this has been developed. But inside Seaside. Permission management for components. Seaside itself does not have that. You have a session management. The Peer system has a fine-grained user management. So Peer is a system built on top of Seaside that it started as a wiki implementation, but it is more kind of a new layer on top of Seaside. And this has user management and security management. Any other questions? Okay. So thanks.